Well, Tucker Carlson's been lighting up the internet lately. His documentary called The End of Men, which is about declining testosterone levels, had a trailer that premiered earlier this week, and it is creating a lot of buzz online. But here's the thing. The left is laughing at this for all the wrong reasons. Here's a clip.
Once a society collapses, then you're in hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say, and those hard times inevitably produce men who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to survive.
So here's the thing, right? When you first look at this documentary, when you first look at what's going on, it does seem a little laughable, right? And so it's very easy to laugh about this. It's very easy to laugh at this sort of homoerotic imagery of big muscular men. And then there's a little bit of further in the clip, it gets into testicular tanning and it gets into all of this stuff. So it's very easy for people, especially on the left, to laugh at this. It's very easy, I think, honestly, for people on the left and the right to laugh about this without actually breaking down what it really means. So the documentary, which I haven't seen yet, right? But the documentary is about the decline in testosterone levels among men over the past 40 to 50 years, which is something that's literally approaching endemic levels, right? This is something that is very, very important, and it's something that should be studied. It's a conversation that should be had. And so when you think about what's going on with the left, when you think about the fact that masculinity and the idea of what it is to be a man is constantly under attack in this country. Remember, it is the left that tells you that your masculinity is toxic. It is the left that tells you that men, particularly white men, are everything that is wrong with the world. So what are these messages intended to do to a populace? Well, if you look at the majority of liberal men, you can see exactly what it's intended to do. It's intended to make them weak. It's intended to make them docile. It's intended to make them sort of subservient to women in a sort of way that they can be more easily controlled and more easily manipulated. And I think that that is something very real that needs to be discussed, because we have a society that literally cannot continue to function without men that are strong in lots of different ways. Men that are strong mentally, men that are strong physically, men that are strong emotionally, men that actually take charge of their masculinity, and they appreciate, respect it, and do things to encourage that. And so the left wants to laugh at this real conversation because they spend an inordinate amount of their time bashing men, bashing maleness, and bashing masculinity. And we see what happens when you get rid of the men and when you get rid of, strong fathers in homes. I mean, look at what's happening in the African-American community. And I can tell you very specifically that the African-American community is suffering a crisis of fatherlessness. And it is a fatherlessness crisis that is raising year after year, number one, and it's also exporting itself to other communities, right? So if you tell men that masculinity is bad, if you tell men that masculinity is wrong, if you tell men that the very essence of who we are and who they are is wrong, you are going to get a population that is more easily controlled, and you are going to get a population that sees a steady decline in testosterone levels. Now, the powers that be are not interested in exploring this in a journalistic fashion at all, because they're not interested in journalism anymore. They're interested in propaganda. That is why the left is laughing at this. And while I may concede that, yes, at first glance, it is a little comical, there's something deeper going on here that I think Tucker Carlson is getting at. And my advice to you is to listen, take it in, and have the conversation. Because the powers that be in the media do not want you to have this conversation.